right now. Let me know if this has been happening or if it just started. Because I'm seeing like major pixelization on the stream right now. There's really no way to fix that. I don't know why it's doing that. X says no, it didn't. Looks fine to me. Okay. Well, maybe it's just my computer. I'm gonna bring it up on my phone here before I take a quick break. Also, another telling point would be if it's happening on here as well, which I don't think it is. Okay, I'm just going to run around really quick. I want to make sure that it's just my computer and not the stream that's having problems. And again, if you just hopped in, I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break here. We're running through the story missions and just doing random things in the game here. And it does look like it is just the my computer, so thank goodness. Cool. All right, almost had a heart attack. All right, guys, I will be right back. And again, thank you so much for the support today. I really appreciate it. It looks like we are up to 63 followers, so that's awesome. Some people, different people coming in today, hanging out. Again, I'm so appreciative that anybody would take their time to come stop by. I really wish that, to be honest, like I kind of feel like the game is a little dry, unfortunately. So thank you for bearing with me. It's just that the missions are so samey right now. So I do apologize if it is a little bit less entertaining than usual, but it's not. It's, you know, it's about hanging out and stuff. So just we'll keep hanging out and chat. And we'll do fun stuff, and we'll keep continuing with the story to see where the game goes. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to take a quick break, and I will be right back.
Sorry, I was eating a Milky Way.
Nice.
Sit down. Sit down and speak. What you got on your mind?
All right. So I'm going back to the whole thought process thing again.
I'm there. I'm in your head.
Okay. How has growing up playing video games benefited your life?
Oh.
And
I got this.
Well, I got to give you my little backstory.
I don't want to hear your story. I'm jumping right in.
No, you're going to steal it.
I'm in your brain right now.
I'm
going to take. I can see through your eyes. I can see through your eyes. You should have never got a Nintendo. You should have had a Sega.
Shut the
First
hell
of
First
all, I
off.
had both, and I had a Sega Genesis, Sega Saturn, Sega Dreamcast.
All right, go ahead. Tell us what you did. What made your? How did this make your penis big?
No, I'm gonna be a girl about this and say no. Go for it, Paul.
All right,
Yeah,
good.
all right.
Thank God. All right, finally.
Go.
So let me tell you about what games have done for me in my life.
Oh, great.
As you know, I had a career in engineering, and I was a cable guy for a year in my life, and done a lot of things that that involve the mind, the
psyche.
temples and the lobes
the psyche, the kinetics of the
It
brain.
is his muse, his
and
flame.
it is my muse. It is my flame. So back starting way back in the day, when I was just a wee lad, I was at my grandma's house, and she had this old ass TV. It was like a black and white shitty TV that had the little twisty knob to power it on, and then you had all the dials to twist to get to the right channel. And so I had this shitty TV, and then she had an NES there with like a shit ton of games. And this was probably 95, 96, so the NES had been around for a while. But I had no idea like what it even was. So I plugged it in, and like you push the little power button on the NES, and the little red light comes on. And the TV like didn't have the little codecs like twisty input thing. And so I was in the basement looking at this old TV, and there was like this weird like pitchfork prong thing that I found, and I'm like, hey, that has the twisty part that I need to plug this into. So I put that on the TV and like got it all hooked up, and then I put the game in, and it looked all distorted and everything. And I'm like, what the hell's up with that? So I took the game out and like looking at it and like I put my finger on it. I put my finger in there, and I couldn't get deep enough, so you do the blow. That was the first time I blew. So I blew the cartridge, I put it back in, and it would come up and it would be like all blue and weird. So then I took it back out, and I found myself a Q-tip. Stick a little wet Q-tip in there, squiggle it around, push it in, and then it started working. So like that started my ability to troubleshoot. Like those layers of like process of elimination, like that all started with the NES, and I like that then grew into me like working on computers and having to understand for like the hardware, and then getting in the layers of the software side, and like eventually, I am the engineer that I am today. So yeah, it crafted my abilities to be the bright guy that I am.
So your entire life has culminated from playing NES on your shitty black and white tube TV.
On my shitty black TV.
At your grandma's house.
It all stems back to that.
That is deep. Nelson, I'm not going to cut you off like that, asshole, so why don't you go ahead?
Where I'm coming from with all of this, how it's benefited my life, same principle and core concept. If you ever had a Nintendo system, just the original NES, or you went to a friend's house to play with that, there was a lot of like temperamentality to it, especially for us. By the time I got to like an NES or remember it, I was like 4 or 5 my first time playing like Super Mario, and the system was already like 4 or 5 years old, which was, I mean, even for like old school equipment, that seemed pretty outdated. But it would like, you had to do all the blowing in there, or you'd put like, I remember rolling up pieces of cardboard at different lengths, or different thicknesses, and putting that in and knowing the exact like sweet spot that it needed to be at to play like 4 games for whatever reason. And looking back in there and seeing how like a cartridge like got plugged in and all that crap. So for me, that was like my initial troubleshooting, because like my parents pretty much had no idea how a gaming system worked either. My dad did a little bit, but after a while it was like I knew way more than he did, because I would deal with the crap all the time. My dad's at work and I'm trying to play, Super Mario World 3, and I can't do it, so I'd have to, look at something in the back of the TV. Eventually, like the coax cable, like that little prong in there, got bent and broken, and I had to either find a new one or
Goddamn that thing. God
exactly. And you'd be so nervous about unplugging it and putting it back in,
or trying to bend it back when it's like stuck to the side. You're like, don't break.
Exactly. So a lot of that is how everything changed in my life. Like when people always come to me, at least on both sides of my family, the in-laws and my side of like the tech side, saying, hey, how do you do this? Or, hey, can you help me with this? And I've literally never done the thing that they're asking me to do, but because of my training, my extensive Nintendo certifications that I have, it really helped me say, okay, well, this is what I need to do to solve this problem tech-wise, and it's grown from there. So that's where I come in with all this, and that's why I think maybe I know more than some people on the tech side of stuff. Maybe they had better initial systems when they were growing up, they barely ever had issues. But for me, it seemed like the issues just got worse and worse, or I treated the equipment crappier and crappier, so I'd have to come up with ghettoer and ghettoer versions of solving said problems. So that's my 2 cents on it.
Man, it sounds like you guys are a couple of peas in a pod there.
Yeah.
We
just
should be
cultivating-
running Google's entire
I told
everything.
you. I told you I was in your head looking through your eyes.
Yeah,
That's why I jumped on it.
I think that that perfectly illustrates how, like, the format that we have for the website, where you guys are the ones who learn all the animation and all that stuff, and then I'm usually the one on the outside, because my experience with video games, probably I'm gonna guess more extensive than either of yours, but completely unrelated to the technical ramifications that you're speaking to. I remember playing games. Some of my first memories are playing games. We used to live in a modular home in a trailer park when I was younger, and we lived there. I remember playing regular Nintendo. I would play on a regular basis when my brother would not beat the crap out of me for touching it. I remember playing Mike Tyson's Punch-Out when I was 5-6 years old. Don't think I ever beat it, but I remember getting pretty far. Get up there to beat Sandman, beat the Macho Man. Get up there and have some bouts with the big dogs. Never touched Tyson, but get some action.
Who's the
there.
fat guy with the X on his stomach?
King Hippo.
Yeah, I could never beat him.
Oh, he's super easy. You're
He's
terrible.
like the third one.
Yeah, he's like the 5th fight, I think.
Dude, I was on a black and white TV, all right?
It goes
What?
Gabby J, Von Kaiser, Piston Honda,
Piston Honda.
Don Flamenco, I think, is 4th, and then 5th, I think, is King Hippo. Yeah, and he's,
Wasn't there like one like named after like drugs or like alcohol or something like that?
Oh,
like,
there's a dude named. His name was.
crackhead.
His name was Soda Popsinski.
There
But
we
it's like
go.
incredibly obvious that he's drinking a beer, and I think like in other
That's what it was.
language versions, he's named something alcohol related, and they changed it to pop in America, or I don't know, something like that. But yeah, it's Soda Popsinski. He's pretty tough. He can be a pretty tough fight, especially when you got those tiny hands of a 5-year-old trying to make them moves that you need to make.
Hey man, your reflexes were never better than when you were 5 years old. I'm sorry.
I have no doubt in my mind that that's true. Other games I remember playing Aladdin on Super Nintendo. It was a fun game. Just some of my earliest memories are just from playing games, and I think it's really crafted me parts of my personality. Some for the good, some for the bad. Probably I tend to be I don't know. I tend to be sometimes like fairly introvert, but I have decent social skills, I like to believe. But it makes me a little bit, it taught me that I like to spend time on my own. It made me that kind of a person, work on my own kind of things. It also set me up for I love stories. I love a good story, and this kind of came in the later years of video games, maybe within the last 5-10 years, when narratives started to get really good. And I would just get lost in games sometimes. And there are other examples, even unstory related. Super Smash Brothers is a big series for me. I've spent a lot of time with that game, just kind of trying to master it and get down to the nitty gritty with it and get really good. I'm not nearly as good as professionals you'll see online.
YouTube King.
Yeah, no.
Ken.
Yeah, none of that. None of those guys. I am not even close to on their level. But if you just invite me
Mango.
over to a party at your house and kid sets up a Smash Brothers game, I'm gonna run roughshod over that room. There's no doubt in my mind. I got no.
What kids parties are you going to?
Huh?
Well,
Well, none these
You wanna-
days. None these days.
Send me over to a little kitty party. I'll put a hurt on him.
Is your best friend from Lost Prophets?
No, like just back in the day, you go to someone's house, they've got some video games
Yeah.
going, you kind of peer over there and you're like, oh, got Smash Bros, huh? Would you maybe plug that in? Maybe we'll play a couple rounds. I'm not.
you're
that
rolling.
Good. I'm not. I'm
You
not
rolling
that good.
Yoshi? Captain Falcon over here.
I like to use Captain Falcon. Use a little Pikachu.
Falco punch.
Falcon and
little
Pikachu.
Roy.
Them are my boys. Them two.
I thought you were a Ness dude.
I like
Yeah,
Ness.
weren't you
I
a
like
Ness?
Ness. He's a top 5 guy.
What the
for
hell
me,
is that thing that he's screaming all the time when that blue thing comes out of his ass?
PK Thunder.
Hey, Big Guy Thunder! That's what it
Yeah.
was.
Yep.
Big Guy Thunder!
Yeah.
But yeah, they've kind of just provided escapes for me in ways to, I don't want to necessarily say kill time, because I value the time that I spend with a lot of games. They've been really important to me, but it's been ways for me to kind of have something to do, and get lost in things and keep my mind kind of working on different levels. So I am very indebted to them for that. I'm very appreciative of that, to games. And